Hello, good morning. My name is Odonga. I am a political philosopher, I'm a lawyer, and today I'm talking about the prisons. If I were the president of Uganda, the first thing I would do in office is to empty the prisons in the country by 90%. Now, these are very interesting statistics. We have 76,272 Ugandans in prison. 76,272 people who should be digging and farming in prisons. Out of these, only 1.8% of the inmates are foreigners. Now, these are very interesting statistics. The official capacity of Ugandan prisons is to carry 20,700 people. But wait a minute. The prisons are now carrying 62,000 inmates. That means we have an excess of 50,000 people. The prisons are small. People sleep in shifts, you know. So these are issues that I want to philosophize about this morning. Now, out of the 62,000 inmates, 48.3% of the inmates have not yet faced trial. They are pre-trial inmates. They are on remand. And our law says everyone is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. So look at this situation. You have 48.3% of the inmates who are innocent and they are awaiting trial. More interesting statistics. The occupancy level, the rate at which the prisons are keeping people is at 364%. That means the prisons are over occupied. Luzira prison, for example, has 1,700 inmates. Have a minute of reflecting. These are again more interesting statistics. The convicts, those who have been convicted, are 32,218. Those who are on remand, 33,344. So we have 33,384 people who are presumed innocent until proven guilty, locked up in the various prison systems of Uganda. Now, statistics shows, which I'm making reference to, statistics shows that those released from prisons of Uganda after serving their sentences, only 30% become repetitive offenders, which means 70% of our prisons, of our inmates from prisons, are those who reform and come and live meaningful lives. Now, as I said earlier, if I were the president, I would release every inmate except those who committed aggravated robbery, defilement, rape, and murder. All the rest, I would empty the prisons and ask them to go home. You'd say, Honorable Tor, why are you raising these serious questions? Now, the answers are philosophical. The answers lie in political philosophy. Look at these statistics. We have 102 judges in Uganda. We have 73 registrars in Uganda. We have 475 magistrates in Uganda. Now, you expect these few distinguished individuals, I have read their numbers now, to try 33,000 people. It's a joke. So I still insist the justice system in Africa needs to be reconsidered. We are using the colonial laws. It is having more inmates. In the Western world, 75% of those in prisons are those who are convicted. In Africa, specifically in Uganda, we have 48.3% of those in prisons on remand. This is an abuse of process. We have a justice system that is not compatible with the traditional African way of doing things. Now, what am I recommending? You know, what we call justice has two distinct kinds. We have retributive justice and we have restorative justice. Retributive justice is taken from the old principle of the Bible, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Now, that is the justice system we have imported, sadly, in the African continent, and specifically into Uganda. That is why we have many people locked up in prisons. However, we have another kind of justice, which is called restorative justice. How do you restore an individual that has committed an offense? And of all these inmates I've counted, only 240 are debtors. So how can we have our justice system in Uganda restorative? What has happened to community policing? In the year 2020, the prison population increased from 35,000 to 65,000. That means crime is on the increase. What happened to the community policing that we would see those days in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? Police going to teach people about the law. So we need to engage more in restorative justice system. My good friend, the Chief Justice of Uganda, my good friend, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, my good friend, the Commissioner General of Prison, what legacy are you leaving in that office? Are you leaving a legacy, I beg your pardon, are you leaving a legacy of putting many prisons to lock up people, or we are leaving a legacy to have a restorative kind of justice system? Can we pick a leaf from Rwanda? We have the Gacaca courts. People are being tried under trees. The jury is composed of people from that village. Now, why would someone steal a hen from Abaitababiri in Masaka and is taken to prison for 6 months, and the taxpayers have to keep feeding that person for stealing a hen? Is it a justice system? Is it just? Is justice just? This is a philosophical question. Those who stole the iron sheets, all the criminals are out here. The innocent are in prison. Those who stole the iron sheets are at large. Some of them are being escorted by lead vehicles. So I would say we need to start thinking, and my role as a philosopher is to provoke thoughts. One more thing, one more statistics. You need to look at this. If we have an occupancy level of 364, there is a problem. So I still insist, the day I'm president of this country, the first thing I'll do in the first day is to release 90% of the inmates. Let's have a kind of communal work. If someone is convicted to 1 year in prison, let him go and clear Lubiji swamp. No one wants a crime-infested society, but at the same time, it is not a solution to lock up people for the rest of their lives while we, the taxpayers, feed them. Actually, there are some inmates who, when released and they serve their sentences, they struggle hard to go back to prison because there is free food, free electricity, free water, paid by you, the taxpayers. Goodbye and good day from philosopher Odonga Oto. Cheers. Give your comments.